Alright, we're getting there. Alright, it's a quick stream just to show you how to get the BF109 started. Try to adjust my mic levels, so I just want to see if the sound is coming out any better. So, let's jump into the cockpit. Now, on the startup checklist it says that the canopy should be locked, but if you like the sound of the engine, don't do that. Leave it open, so it sounds better. If you want the checklist, click this little screw here and it will bring up all of this information. So workshop, looking good. Yeah, this stream is more about checking the sound once the engines are started to see if I can hear my voice on the stream, because that's a big issue at the minute. So right, gear, ensure it's down. So we can check the gear is down here. We don't need the battery on to do this. This is a mechanical mechanism. And then we've got the lights here which will show up when the battery's on, but they are down. Throttle, open, 1 inch. So let's just crack the fuel valve all the way to full. 1 inch open. Alright. Next, prop to auto. If it's in that position, it is in auto. Radiator controls to open. There we go. Battery on. So the battery switch is just here. And then it wants you to put in A8, A12, A21 and A22. They're all in. Now what it doesn't say on this bit is set the parking brake. So my top tip, set the parking brake.
So
If you don't, the nose will crash into the floor. So we're going to prime the engine. It says 5 pumps. I generally go with 6 to 8. There we go. And we want to fuel pump circuit breaker, pull in A27. There we go. Fuel valves both on, which we've already done. Magnetos to M1+2. Inertia starts for 20 seconds, and a strong pull of this switch here. So there we go. $18,000 RPM or a steady tone, which you'll be able to hear. So you don't really need this count up rev. You can tell when it gets to 18. Hold back on the yoke whilst you do this. Stop the nose going down into the ground. There we go, 18,000. And we're on. So, next thing to do is let the aircraft warm up. Okay. Up to 1,000 revs. Pull in all your fuel circuit breakers. And things like your fuel levels will come to life. The avionics master. Whilst the engine's warming up, you check when you plug the foul in. If you let this go run away from you, the plane will stall and you won't be able to restore it. So keep that plug fouling clear. It shouldn't get above 30%. This is what the prop's at. It's set to auto, so you really don't need to worry about this. This is your altimeter. This is your rate of climb. So this is your altimeter. This is your speedo. This is the manifold pressure. And fuel gauge. Oil pressure, this one's really important. So these temperatures here, as you can see, it's below that 50 notch. You don't want to run the engine too high, because if this oil pressure rises, when the temperature is low, the oil pressure rises really high. If it gets to there, you will get oil all over your screen. So if I run the engine up now, we'll just have a look and see where we're at. That's okay at the minute. Drop down the magnetos, check for a 75 RPM drop. Is okay. And bring the revs back down to 1,000. That run up test suggests that we're about ready for taxi. So for takeoff, flaps want to be level 1, which is 20 degrees. And you want to rotate this back to -1, which is actually nose up, but yeah. Okay. Ready for takeoff. Taxi, so we'll taxi out. I'll just do a quick flight round. Show you how this aircraft works. The things sticking out the front of the wingtips there are stabilisers, and they go in and out depending on the speed you're at. When you get to a certain speed, you'll hear a big clunking noise. You feel like you've damaged something to the aircraft. You haven't. It's just the stabilisers coming in and out. As we get close to runway, I'm going to set this to auto for the radiator flaps. And it's onto the runway. Spin this plane round. If you hold the brake in and bring up the revs, it will turn it quicker. But I'm happy with that rate of turn, so we'll line up. Gently bring our throttle up. Look for 170 kilometers an hour before we lift back on the stick. Positive rate, the gear can go up. And we'll raise the flaps as well. So check for 2 red lights and also that mechanical indicator showing you earlier that wants to be in the up position, which it is now. For normal flight, you're 1.1 on that ATA, which is just there. So we'll just do a very quick flight. We'll fly alongside the runway and come back in. You can see those stabiliser slats have gone in now. Stop the aircraft trying to pull itself up into the air. You can bring that back to 0 just as needed, but bring it back round onto that waypoint marker there. should line us up nicely for the runway. Ease off that speed. Just come into this bend to try and draw a bit of that speed off. Get it fairly level through the bend if you can. So 250 then. First level flaps and gear down. Check with the 2 green lights and that mechanical switch. Show that they are set, and then we'll go full flaps. Back on to 1.1 roughly to keep us in the air. Just as needed again. Down onto the runway, easing up on that throttle as we come in. There go those slats, stabilisers I told you about. Flare up. A little bit of a tough landing, but landing gear survived it. As you can see, slats are back out. Flaps can come up. We take the plane around 180. And just going to pull it up on this left hand side spark line. Yeah. If you're doing longer taxis, just remember the 30% rule on that plug fouling. Yeah. It was close. 30 is the sort of region where your engine will start to cut out. But since going for that flight, you can see the difference. When we started this engine, the oil pressure was 5 or 6. Now it's down at 1 and a bit pressure, so I'm not sure if it's in bar. I don't think they measure it in bar, but yeah. A few extra bits on this plane just to show you before turn off the stream. I'm going to leave the engine running just because I want to hear what the sound quality is like on my mic, but this is the emergency gear lever, so if your gears don't come down, you can try and pull this. It should lock the gears down. It's in oil at the minute, but you can turn it to toggle it for water temperature, which displays here. Remember, below 50 is danger territory for taxiing out. You've also got an injector switch here, which injects water and ethanol. So when that's on, just brings your revs up, gives you more speed. 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off. This is to jettison your canopy. Finally, this is the engine kill switch. All switches can be pulled out, and the battery switch can be turned off.